If you like to talk to tomatoes, if a squash can make you smile, if you like to waltz with potatoes, up and down the produce aisle, have we got a show for you? Broccoli, celery, gotta be VeggieTales.
My guests today are the creative minds and talent behind the widely popular Christian-themed computer-animated series VeggieTales. With dozens of episodes and one movie released up to date, they'll be releasing their second feature film, Universal Pictures' The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything, a VeggieTales movie, this Friday, January 11th. Joining me on the phone is Phil Vischer and Mike Nawrocki, otherwise known as Bob the Tomato and Larry the Cucumber. Phil, Mike, thanks so much for taking the time to be on the show today.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, thanks for having us, Joe.
So this is a pretty big week for you guys. You've been keeping yourselves busy?
Oh yeah, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind, but it's exciting. You know, we've been working on the film for 2 years now, and it's all coming to a head on this weekend. And it's just we're really proud of the film. It's a really fun film with a really great lesson, and we're just excited for people to get out and see it.
Well, let me start by asking you, what inspired you to create a cartoon about talking vegetables with no arms or legs that teach moral lessons?
Well, it really started, I was the computer animator in Chicago back in the late 80s, and I was looking for a way to tell my own stories. I was doing TV commercials and little logos and things. But I also I noticed a lot of TV shows didn't have the values that I'd grown up with in Sunday school, going to church every week. And a lot of the values for kids were the exact opposite, about, kicking each other and hostility and sarcasm and things that I didn't really want my own kids to grow up learning. So I thought, okay, I want to tell my own stories with the values I'd learned in Sunday school. And this was very early in the history of computer animation. It was 5 years before Toy Story, the first Pixar movie. And so the technology couldn't handle at that point any character with arms, legs, hair, or clothes. So I thought, okay, I need really simple characters, and started playing around with the candy bar. And then my wife walked by and saw the candy bar and said, moms are going to be mad if you make their kids fall in love with candy bars. And I thought, ooh, good point. Well, what wouldn't moms be mad about their kids falling in love with? And the next thing that popped into my head was a cucumber. So I made a cucumber, and he was tall and skinny, and I thought someone short and round would go with him. So I made a tomato to go with him. And I said, hey, Mike, could you be the voice of the cucumber? I'll be the voice of the tomato. And that was really the birth of VeggieTales.
Now, see, and I would think, too, that could have the reverse effect, that now a kid might just be afraid to eat a tomato.
Yeah, it goes both ways. We've had letters of varying degree.
We've had some moms write in and say, my kid won't eat any vegetable that's in VeggieTales, and we've had other moms write in and say, my kid will eat any vegetable that's in VeggieTales.
And we just say, as long as they're not talking, go ahead and eat them.
So can you tell me a little bit about the new movie, The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything? What inspired you to do a 17th century veggie pirate adventure?
Well, Phil, you want to handle? Phil wrote the script for it, and then I directed it.
Yeah, these characters. Mike actually came up with these characters, the Pirates Who Don't Do Anything, just as a silly song about 10 years ago. So it was kind of just a one-time throwaway joke. But fans liked him so much that when we were writing Jonah, our first movie, we thought, okay, Jonah, is supposed to be running away from God, jumps on a ship to run away, and then gets in trouble in the ocean. What ship would he be on that would be funny? And we thought, well, let's put him on the ship of the Pirates Who Don't Do Anything. And that they've never sailed before, and that's why he gets into so much trouble. And that ended up being so much fun working with these characters that by the end of making Jonah, which was in late 2002, I thought, okay, these guys deserve their own adventure, their own pirate story, to say, okay, why are they the pirates who don't do anything? And is it good to be a pirate who doesn't do anything? And where did we go with that? And so it really started saying, okay, who are these three guys, and what kind of adventure can they have, where you go from being kind of fake heroes or wannabe heroes to being real heroes, which is ultimately what the story is about.
Yeah, and it's sort of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure meet the Three Amigos, as we start off in the present day with our pirate friends who aspire to be on the stage of a pirate-themed dinner theater where they work as cabin boys.
Which is about the most heroic thing they can imagine.
Exactly, it's where they want to be. But since they don't won't do anything. They can't even manage to do that. But they meanwhile in the 17th century, there's a kidnapping going on. A prince is kidnapped by his evil uncle Robert the Terrible, who's trying to take over the throne, and the prince's sister, the princess, actually produces a help seeker, which her father has created to get help, and she asks for help, and this thing finds its way into the future and pulls our heroes back into a real pirate adventure. So it's a fun plot and a lot of fun as the story plays through.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, I was reading a little bit about this. Robert the Terrible. Now, he's got arms and legs, right?
Of a sort, yes. Yeah.
He has mechanical arms and legs.
He's just a head. He ain't got no body in reality, but he's got
he's harnessed the mechanical art.
That's right.
To make himself more powerful than the king.
That's right. Which is, it's great because we have our simple veggie characters, and over the years we've been able to really make the world that they exist in much more elaborate. And so with the pirates who don't know anything, we have these robotic character suits. We've got rock monsters, sea monsters. Angry
cheese girls.
Crazy cheese girls. So the cast around these simple vegetables is pretty elaborate, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, from what I understand, there is a New Jersey, and we're a New Jersey station here, so there's a New Jersey connection in this movie. And correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the film stars let me see if I have this right, a decorative gourd.
That's right.
named Mr. Lund is actually from New Jersey, right?
Oh yeah, he grew up in New Jersey, Hackensack, actually.
From Hackensack, no kidding. Okay, well, it is the Garden State, right? So
yeah, it is the Garden State, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, we made a reference to that. I think that was for the Cheeseburger song, where somebody thought he grew up in Connecticut, but no, I grew up in New Jersey.
I grew up in New Jersey.
That's right.
Well, I've always wondered if Bob was a Jersey tomato or not.
No, he's pretty.
He's more of a beefsteak.
Yeah, he's pretty darn Midwestern.
Well, Mike, like you just mentioned, now you directed this movie, and Phil, you wrote it. Now, this is the opposite from the last film, Jonah, correct?
Actually, on the last film, we both co-wrote and co-directed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we different but similar.
We divided and conquered this time.
So how is directing a feature film compared to the other directing you guys have done in the past?
Oh, well, just the scope and scale of a feature film is just so much larger. Our 45-minute videos, I'd put it on this, an order of 10 degrees, or 10 times, just more effort in terms of, developing a story that will hold up for that much longer, filling a huge movie screen just with the type of visuals that they're going to engage an audience for that much time. And then just, the time itself, 2 years in production. But it's really, I love the ability to really be able to take the time to craft the story and just put a lot of beautiful visuals into it. We worked with Chuck Volmer, our art director, on this film, and it's just I think it's the prettiest thing we've ever done, and certainly the most exciting. And so it's just been a pleasure working on this film, and having made Jonah before and learning what to do on a feature film and what not to do on a feature film, it just was a great opportunity to kind of dive in and do it again.
Now, Phil, you're the voice behind Bob the Tomato, and Mike, you voice Larry the Cucumber, but as well as a number of other characters. How many voices do you guys do in these things?
Yeah, over the years, I think I've done about 20 different VeggieTales characters, mostly out of the laziness of not wanting to have to find real actors and pay them.
And I do about a half a dozen myself, and then typically when little bit parts show up, okay, I think I can throw in a voice for that. And then it's fun working with other people around the office too to kind of cast new voices, and then for the film we cast the net out a little bit wider. We have a royal family. A king and a evil tyrant brother and a prince and a princess, and we were able to, the real actors took those roles over.
Do either of you have a favorite aspect to your work?
Oh man, there's so much that I enjoy. I mean, I really love sort of, in writing and just conceiving and coming up with that. That's really fun. But I also love working with other people. So the ability to direct and work with so many talented artists to bring a script to life is also a lot of fun. So yeah. I enjoy the whole storytelling process.
And for me, I think it's really fun to take a lesson and then rather than just stating your lesson, plainly craft it into a story. So that the story teaches rather than just a teacher teaching. That's really rewarding.
Now, your company, Big Idea, was really on the ground floor with CGI. And from your perspective, how have the advancements in the technology affected how VeggieTales has been created over the past 15 years?
It looks prettier.
Yeah. Well, oh yeah. I mean, it's so from a technical standpoint and artistic standpoint, it's almost embarrassing for me to go watch our first few shows. It's like, oh, it looks so much better now. But yeah, certainly, I think that technology has advanced. Our own competency as artists has advanced, especially with the people that have joined us over the years and what they've been able to bring to the table. And it's just been neat to kind of see this evolution of look throughout the years, and with what we've got with Pirates, the 15 years that I've been working with VeggieTales, this is the project I'm the most proud of. It just looks gorgeous, and it's got just a great pace to the film, and we're trying more and more with every story we tell to become better storytellers, and we're just excited about the opportunity to do another feature film.
Yeah, and you always hope that as technology improves, you'll be able to do the same thing easier and cheaper. And instead, you just make it better, and it ends up costing the same and taking the same amount of time.
Yeah,
but it looks better.
Yeah, because you're never quite, you're never satisfied. So you always want to work all the way up to the edge of technology, to get the best look that you can.
Well, I remember when the early videos started coming out, and CGI was pretty few and far between, with animated series, and at the time it really looked really good. And
yeah.
I'd say I was in high school, maybe 15 at the time, and my mother used to babysit some neighbor kids, and she would always throw on VeggieTales video, and I'd catch myself just sitting there and watch the whole video. I mean, they were really funny.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. It may have been the humor, as much or even more than the visuals.
Oh no, absolutely. The humor,
people in.
The humor was great, and in a wholesome, family, clean way. With a lot of humor that there's just no way a kid would get it.
Right. There were a lot of shows, as I was looking at kids' TV that were good for kids, but not particularly engaging or amusing. And there were a lot of shows that were really, really funny, but really weren't very good for kids. And so what I was really trying to do is say, okay, kids want Twinkies, but they need apples. So rather than just throwing in the towel and handing them the Twinkie, can we try to make an apple taste more like a Twinkie? Try to cross Mr. Rogers with Ren and Stimpy and find out, what's in the middle. What do you get?
So essentially you gave them an apple with no arms and legs and made the apple talk.
An apple that tasted like a tomato.
Perfect.
Now, from what I understand, is it true there's a script out there floating around for a third Veggie movie that hasn't been made yet?
Yes, there is. It was one that I'd worked on also about the same time, called the Bob and Larry movie, which is really an origin story, more ambitious, more like Toy Story in that it explains, okay, why did these vegetables talk? How did they meet? And who on earth gave them their own TV show?
Yeah.
So hopefully, if all of our fans come out and see the Pirates That Don't Do Anything this weekend, the Hollywood will want to make the next one too.
Yeah. And where vegetables walk among men.
I heard. So yeah, there'll be human CGI characters in this one.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
So does Larry mind that Bob gets top billing on that one?
No, he's always come first in the naming game, so it's alphabetical.
Now, did either of you ever have any idea back in the early '90s when you started Big Idea that VeggieTales would become the household name that is today? I mean, moving into films and television on NBC now.
No. I mean, initially, what I was thinking about was, gee, there are a lot of Christian families out there that don't see, don't have a good way to pass their values on to their kids. So maybe it's just for people, in churches, and this will be a help for them, and maybe we'll sell, a few thousand of these, and it'll be a good thing. And I had no idea just how much hunger there was, to be able to pass on traditional values, Judeo-Christian values, to kids in an entertaining way. And it's spread much farther than I thought. And the ability to now be working in Hollywood, making films where, the Hollywood studios are saying, now, are you sure, does this have all the Christian values in it that you want? Because if you need more, we're okay with that.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
For each of you, what's been the most fulfilling aspect of this experience with VeggieTales, and what's it like for you to be behind the characters that bring so much happiness to so many people, especially children?
Well, yeah, I think the most motivating thing for me is just to realize that what we're doing is helping kids, and the letters that we get back from kids and from fans, and the way that VeggieTales has helped them. From simple things to my trying to teach my child about sharing, and Lyle the Kindly Viking was such a great video for that. Thank you for that. To kids with autism and special needs who have really grown up with a relationship with these characters that means so much to them. So it's just really rewarding, that connection that we've been able to have with kids and our audience, and it's really, it's an honor, and it's very humbling to know that we've been, kind of given this to, responsibility with kids, and we try our best to take that very seriously and tell the best stories that we can.
Yeah, and also, 9 out of 10 Americans believe in God, and yet, you can watch Nickelodeon or the Disney Channel or almost any cable network 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never hear a character talk about God or say that they believe in God. And so for kids growing up, the world of TV just looks completely different than the world that in many cases they're growing up in. And to be able to bring, now VeggieTales is on NBC on Saturday morning, and they actually mention God. They talk about God on NBC on Saturday morning, and that's just an amazing thing that didn't exist 10 years ago. So that's really rewarding.
Yeah, and I heard there was a little bit of a controversy with that because initially they weren't, but I guess the people spoke and they put God back in it, right?
Yeah, well, of course, there are lots of sensitivities about mentioning religion or talking about anything religious on network television, where they're trying to appeal to everyone in America except people who are offended by bad morals. But anyway, where they're trying to appeal to everyone in America. So there was some sensitivity over about what can we say and what can't we say, and we had to do some editing to bring it down. And they're still kind of trying to figure it out. But, God is being mentioned, and these stories, some of which are directly out of the Bible, are playing on NBC on Saturday morning. And
that's an awesome thing, to turn on the TV Saturday morning and see Bob and Larry there sitting in Bob's living room.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, guys, can I ask you a favor? Because normally what I do is I'll ask a guest to do a promo or something like that for the show. Sure. But I got a 17-month-old little boy, and we're starting to get the veggie videos and everything. Would you guys mind saying maybe just a little recorded little hello to my little boy as Bob and Larry?
Sure. Oh, you bet. What's his name?
His name's he's same name as me, but he's Joey Cook.
Joey Cook. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Are we ready?
Go for it.
Go for it.
Hello! Hey, Joey, how you doing? This is Larry the Cucumber. How's it going, buddy?
And this is Bob the Tomato. Time to get up. Good morning, Joey. That's for when he needs to wake up. Okay, Joey, it's time to go to the bathroom now.
Time to go to school, Joey.
Time to go to college, Joey. Get out of the house.
Cat's in the cradle in the silver spoon.
Time to become a doctor and pay back your father.
I'll play him the good morning one now, and I'll save the other stuff.
Okay, very good.
For the appropriate time, there's Potty Training 101 with the Bob and Larry.
Oh, yeah. One of the videos on the cutting room floor.
Thank you guys so much. All right.
Thanks, Joe, so much.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, talk to you later.
Take care. Have a good day.